Well, I guess I have one more week. Why did they keep changing everything? I'm so annoyed. I get why. They gave an explanation, but I'm so annoyed. Because on Wednesday, they told me, next week you're going to start manager training. This is your last week of graveyard. Then today, they told me one more week of graveyard, and then you start manager training. And I'm just like, ah. But apparently what happened is they hired some new people at the other store, and they need to train those people. And the person who is going to cover my graveyard shifts for next week is needed at the other store next week. So I have to be here because there's no one to cover my shift. Anyway, this morning at like 5 a.m., I was probably the worst customer interaction that I think I've ever had in my entire history of working. Guy comes in. He wants to buy some quarters. Just quarters. Straight up change, dollars for 4 quarters. I told him, I can't do that. And we have done that in the past because sometimes, especially at the end of the month when people are really strapped for cash, they'll come in and they'll dump a bunch of quarters on the counter to pay for their stuff. And then we have an excess of quarters, and we store those in the register. But otherwise, when we don't have an excess, they're stored in this change machine that is all locked up and stuff. And so they just automatically dispense when people buy things and they need the change. And I give them bills, the machine dispenses change. It just makes everything easier and quicker. However, I can't go digging quarters out of that machine when somebody asks me for quarters. So I told him, sorry, I can't give you quarters. And then he started getting an attitude with me, and I explained the reason. I was like, we have a bit of a shortage on quarters right now, so I can't just give them out. If you buy something and make change, the change will pop out of the change machine, and you can have those quarters, but I can't just, like, exchange dollars for quarters right now. And he didn't like that answer. He got back in his fucking loud-ass Camaro with the, like, obnoxiously loud exhaust and sped off. It's still dark, mind you. It's 5 a.m. He sped off. Maybe 10 minutes later, he came back and is like, I can't find any quarters anywhere. You gotta give them to me. And I'm like, dude, I already told you no. What makes you think you can come here and tell me what I can do? And at this point, I'm starting to get annoyed because he's acting like super entitled, and he's just being an asshole about the whole thing, the whole situation. If he was nicer, maybe if he had approached me with less of a, you need to do this for me right now because I am a customer, instead of if he was more like, can you please help me out? I'm really struggling right now. I really need to this, whatever. I might have like figured something out for him and helped him. But with his attitude, I was like, no, absolutely not. No. And so I told him again, there's a change shortage. I show him the coin machine. I'm like, this is all of our quarters right now. I can't take them out of the machine. You have to buy something. And he's like, well, I've come in here before and got quarters. I'm like, I know that. But things have changed and I can't do that anymore. And then he's like, all right, well, why don't I buy something for, 25 cents? Do you have anything for 25 cents? And I was like, honestly, probably not. But if you buy something for $1.25, you can get 75 back. And he's like, all right. And he points to the fucking Black and Milds behind me. He's like, get me one of those. So I got him one of those. And I even helped him out because with tax, it's $1.31. I'm like, if you give me 6 cents from this little penny pile, that's, take a penny, give a penny pile. I'm like, there's plenty of change in there. You give me 6 cents, you can get 3 quarters back from this transaction. So he does that twice. And then he starts calling me names. He's like, see, that wasn't so hard, you stupid bitch. And I was like, whoa. okay, hold on here. I'm done helping you. And then he's like, no, why don't you get a fucking real job, you stupid broke ass bitch? And I was like, whoa, where did this like animosity come from? Excuse me, you don't get to talk to me this way. And then and I'm like, I'm done helping you. You take these and leave right now. Get the fuck out of my store. And then he starts going in on me. He's like, no, fuck you. And I was like, fuck you. And he goes, fuck you. And I said, fuck you. This went back and forth like 5 or 6 times before he finally left. And he got in his stupid fucking loud ass Camaro and he starts screaming at me from his window, through the car, through my window. Fuck you, you broke ass bitch. Get a real job, you stupid fucking broke ass bitch. And I was like, what the fuck? So I went like this back. And he sped the fuck off, like screaming the whole time, being super loud. Again, it is about 5 in the morning and it's still dark. And we're in a residential area. He woke some people up, including my manager. So she heard through her open window what he was saying to me. Another one of my regulars who comes in quite a lot, I think I've called him either Frank or Steve, I don't remember, but he's got a cool hat and he's a cool dude. He came because he heard somebody calling me a broke ass bitch, and I was like, oh, hell no, you're not gonna talk to this lady this way. And he starts coming, but by the time he got here, the dude had already sped off, and just fucking loud ass Camaro just down the street. And I'm like, dude. And I was shook. I was actually shook. And then my manager calls on the phone. And I see the phone ringing. And I'm like, oh my God, that better not be him. And I pick it up. And she goes, hey, Kitty, are you okay? And I'm like, oh my God, it's her. Thank God. And I told her what happened. And she's like, yeah, I heard him. And then I looked at the camera so I could see, like, what all happened. And I can't believe he was talking to you that way. And she's like, oh, I know who he is, too. He's a regular. He comes in the morning and buys Red Bulls with food stamps. So him calling you a broke-ass bitch when he's on food stamps is really reaching. And he looks like he has money. So if he does have a real job, he's not reporting it to the state because he wouldn't be getting food stamps, because I don't qualify for food stamps. I make too much money, like way too much money, and I'm barely getting by. So he's got enough money to drive a fucking loud-ass Camaro and always dress nicely. He's either committing fraud or he's just coasting on money that he had that no longer has. But either way, you don't get to come for me that way. But I'm upset still. I'm still so upset about it. And I'm so upset because I shouldn't let this kind of thing get to me. But the whole get a real job thing, that got me to my core. Because I've always, like, when he yelled, like, get an education, bitch. And I'm like, I wanted to get an education. I dropped out. And that's the thing that I am kind of ashamed of. I wish I was working in my field of study that I really wanted to do, but I can't. It's just the way it is. This is life. Life doesn't ever go the way you want it to go, but that doesn't mean you're better than me just because you have a different job. We all have our own role to play in life. But I'm still really upset. And then he called back and asked when the manager was going to be in. And I was like, ooh, yes, she's waiting for you. She's excited to talk to you. She watched the footage on the security cameras. And then he didn't come. He didn't come. I told him when to come. I told him when she would be here, ready for him at 7. He never came all day long. I don't know if he's going to come in the morning. I don't know if he's going to come on Monday. Or if he's just going to, like, take the loss and never come back. I hope it's the third option. Because nobody likes this guy. Everybody knew who I was talking about, and they all think he's an asshole. I'm running out of time on this video, so I'm going to call it there. Thanks for watching. I guess I'll see you Monday. Bye.